Hello and welcome to the Daily Space for today, December 11th, 2018. I am your host for today, Dr. Pamela Gay, and I am here to put science in your brain. Now, I'm going to admit I've been home with a bad cough all week. There may be moments where I mute the audio to cough throughout this presentation. It is not a technical difficulty. There's just some things you don't need to hear, but hopefully for the duration of this show, I will be okay. So in today's first story, I have far out discoveries. Back in November, we now know the Voyager 2 spacecraft became the second human-made spacecraft to ever leave our solar system. Now, the reason I phrased it that way is I know there's going to be someone out there saying, well, what about aliens? I can't disprove or prove that, so I'm just going to clarify right now. It is the second human-made spacecraft to leave our solar system. It is following in the footsteps of its sibling, Voyager 1, and it is sending us back information in real time as it records its environment. The thing about this little spacecraft is it just doesn't have the capacity to store information anymore. So it's up to the good folks at the Canberra Deep Space Communications Center and Parkes Telescope to listen in to what's going on and record that information in real time. Right now, Voyager 2 is located, let me grab the exact distance. It's 18 billion kilometers away from Earth and continuing its journey outwards. It has left the influence of the sun. It still feels the gravity of our solar system because, let's face it, gravity has a really long reach. But the space it's experiencing, it's out there, experiencing things that we can only theorize. So this is a brave new day where we have two little spacecrafts telling us about the space between the stars. Now, continuing on, thank you so much, Fenmil, for the subscription. Thank you. That's 12 months. Thank you. That's awesome. So continuing on, we have more information on Bennu. Now I'm going to once again start this out with this same graphic. This is a graphic depicting how big the asteroid Bennu is in comparison to some objects that folks are probably familiar with. This is a tiny asteroid. It's only about 500 meters across, and its gravitational pull is about 1/100,000th of what we get from the Earth. This means that our little spacecraft Bennu, as it tries to orbit, it's not so much orbiting as it's firing its rockets to get new perspectives on this little space rock. Now, these new perspectives are kind of awesome. They have brought us new, amazing high-res images. My favorite description so far is this looks like an overly spiced crouton. That came from Catherine Q over on Twitter. But look at this. There are these amazing giant bouldery looking things. You can see one in the lower right hand corner of the image that I have displayed here. You can see the differences in color, which refers to differences in minerals, and it's just an amazingly diverse surface. Now, in addition to being an amazingly diverse surface, it also is proving to have really cool chemistry. So one of the instruments on board the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft is a spectrograph that allows us to measure the specific ways that different colors of light are reflected by this rock. And by comparing Bennu's reflection spectra to that of other meteorites that have struck the surface of our planet that we've been able to study within the laboratory, we're able to see that it has the characteristic dips, specifically this one right here at about 23 microns, that correspond to the presence of minerals that can only form in water. This means that Bennu has what we refer to as hydrated minerals, minerals that formed in water, and thus it once had water. Now, this is particularly interesting because it's now located in the inner part of our solar system, where it would have been completely baked dry if it had formed in situ in the early days of our solar system. So something happened to this rock that brought it water and allowed these minerals to form, or allowed it to form somewhere else and be brought into our inner solar system. We're all anxiously awaiting to see just what the theorists and the observationalists figure out working together. Now, one of the other things that's kind of awesome about this discovery is its unusual, well, overly spiced crouton shape is pretty much exactly what had been predicted by the Arecibo Radio Observatory. This particular asteroid was discovered back in 1999, and it was well observed by both Arecibo and the Goldstone radar facilities. These are radio telescopes that have the ability to both detect radio signals and also send out radio signals that they bounce off of rocks and then use to measure the shapes and other properties, just like, well, a World War II pilot, or just like a flight controller would use to measure where are their incoming aircraft. Well, in this case, instead of measuring aircraft, we measure space rocks. If you want to learn more about this, thank you so much, Funmill. Thank you. Can we light up the chat? Can we get some rockets launching for all of those bits? Thank you. Okay, I cough if I get happy. So we have a cool space rock. It matched predictions in terms of its shape model. And now we are trying to understand exactly where all these hydrated minerals came from. So it's kind of awesome. Stay tuned. This is a story that I'm sure we're going to be talking about for many, many weeks to come. Now, in our final story of the day, it's that time of the year again. It's that time when, well, the sky lights up with the Geminids. This is an underappreciated meteor shower. It is one of the best of the year, with large numbers of extremely bright, well, you may have learned of them as shooting stars, meteorites streaking across the heavens throughout the night. It radiates out of Gemini, which for most people in the world is observable throughout the entirety of the night. You can see here where it appears rising in the east at about 9 p.m. local time for observers globally. Now, as the meteorites radiate away from the constellation Gemini, you can enjoy them with your eyeballs. You can enjoy them by setting up an AM radio. Thank you for the bits, Canada Kim. Thank you so much. You can enjoy them all the different ways. Just remember to enjoy them if you're somewhere cold, well bundled up. This particular meteor shower is one that is generated by a really weird object. The meteor shower was first recognized as a recurring phenomenon back in 1862, but it wasn't until 1983 that astronomers figured out that what they thought was an asteroid, Pantheon, it's not really an asteroid. It's this weird intermediate object. It's essentially a dead comet masquerading as an asteroid. It's this intermediate property set that left them confused. And as it orbits round and round the sun, it leaves behind debris. This debris happens to cross the orbit of our planet. And as our planet goes through the debris goes through our atmosphere and lights up the sky, bringing us our own winter show. Call it what you will, a solstice a few days early, a holiday lights display. It is, in fact, the Geminids, and it's beautiful. Go outside, bundle up, bundle up, bundle up if you're someplace cold. Do not get sick. It's not fun to be sick for Christmas. And enjoy the light display. This year in particular, the moon is going to be in a crescent phase. It's going to be setting early. This means you have an even better chance to see lots and lots of shooting stars. It is predicted that it will peak in the morning of December 14th. So it's in that night that starts out as December 13th, becomes December 14th in the middle of the night. That's the night you want to go out and look. So yeah, I currently really envy all of you in the Southern Hemisphere where it's hot and sticky and you can enjoy this as the sounds of tree frogs and crickets serenade in the background. In the north, it's just cold, but it's pretty. It's pretty and it's cold. So those are our stories for today, and I have one more thing that I would like to highlight. On the weekend of December 22nd, 23rd, we're going to be doing a massive fundraiser here at CosmoQuest. This is our 40 hours of science for science Hangout-a-thon. I will be updating this website to include the dates on the homepage. I just realized I forgot to do that. We are in the process of lining up guests, and our goal is, well, to raise the money needed to keep the lights on around here. As I've talked about before, we'd been warned back in August that due to James Webb Space Telescope cost overruns and changes in how NASA funds citizen science, there was a chance we'd be getting funding cuts. And we didn't just get funding cuts, we got massive funding cuts. And I'm now trying to raise funds with the help of everyone else here at CosmoQuest to keep things going until we can find new funding from new federal agencies, from foundations, basically find a way to keep doing science. Your help is greatly appreciated. We have already started the fundraising. You can see right over there our ticker. And we encourage all of you to consider running your own Tiltify campaign. We will be adding all of the funds brought in on Tiltify to our ticker the day the fundraising starts. Help us bring you science. I personally am contributing by, I'm not going to take salary off of this. I'm only going to pay my salary off of the grants I'm able to bring in. This is funding to help preserve the jobs of my early career staff, of all the wonderful people we work with, some of whom have kids in college. Help us keep doing science. That's really all I've got. So I will now go ahead and answer your questions for a few minutes. And yeah, let me know what you want to know. Go ahead and at me in the chat and I'll answer everything I can. Well, coughing and sniffling. Sorry about that. Yes, bids help too. They just don't show up in the bar. Okay, looking to see if there were any other questions earlier. I'm seeing new names. Welcome to all the new people who are here. 46P should be visible, Kmore, but results may vary depending on where you are on the planet. There should be finding charts up on Sky and Telescope. Thank you so much for the bits, Veronica Cure. Thank you. I need to fix my levels. The chat is somehow above the alerts. Thank you so much, Paranor. Thank you, everyone. Fedmill, what is nothing but an astrometric litter bug? Thank you, K-More, for the bits. Can we light up the chat? Or put questions in. Both are good. Both are good. So Larry said that he watched episode 400 when NASA said they funded you for 5 years. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Turns out that you can get funding and you can lose funding. We've experienced this before when sequestration hit back in 2013. Thank you, Ed, for the bits. When sequestration hit here in the United States back in 2013, we lost about $300,000 in funding overnight because NASA had to cut $30,000. Sorry, 30% of their budget. And in them cutting 30% of their budget, it cut $300,000 from us. We got, I think it was roughly 50% of our budget hammered. Yeah, it was a bad year. Okay, there were more bits. Thank you so much. XVeet, thank you. Ed Thompson, thanks. Motserl, I don't know how to say your name. Thank you, everyone, for everything that you're doing to help us out. So this week I am not at the AGU because I'm sick and I really don't want to get sicker. But I'm going to keep bringing you the science because really I'm not leaving my house. This isn't going to make me sicker and the science must go on, damn it. So I'm going to be here bringing you the science. Annie is there. She's going to record some video for me. We will be bringing you that video on stream, not live because the bandwidth just isn't there for it. But we will have you update. We will have updates coming to you from AGU. And I will be around periodically bringing you other updates as needed. I suspect I'll also be covering rocket launches this week. So K-More is asking, is the fact that Osiris is finding, hold on, it's facts. So K-More is asking if what we're learning about Bennu can be applied to other rocks. So the thing is, it turns out that asteroids come in many radically different formats. They have all sorts of different compositions, and what we're learning about Bennu can be applied to all the space rocks that reflect light in the same way that Bennu does. So there's a class of space rocks that what we're learning can be applied to, but it's not generic. It's sort of like what you learn about one piece of quartz is probably going to be true of a lot of pieces of quartz. But what you learn about a piece of quartz isn't necessarily going to apply to what you learn about a piece of feldspar. It's rocks. They're all slightly different, but they get to share characteristics. And I get to cough. Hey, Giddister. Yes, classy space rocks. I don't know where Pioneer 10 and 11 are, but somebody knows. These are things that aren't mysteries. They're just facts I don't have in my head. As scientists, we really want to know everything, but we don't. I, as an individual, don't know that particular fact, but at least science knows that fact, just not me personally. These are things, give it a Google. I'm sure it's listed in Wikipedia somewhere. There's actually a lot of emphasis put on getting scientists to update Wikipedia to keep it accurate. Thank you, DPI. Another really good place to look is NASA Eyes. Um, it's, I think it's eyes.nasa.gov. They have an app you can download that allows you to really explore our solar system and see where all of the rockets and spacecraft and things like that are. It's not planetarium software, it's where are the spacecraft software. Okay, do we have any more questions out there? And I'm going to look to see if I can tell when the next rocket launch is. One of the things we're learning here at CosmoQuest is we launch as a planet way more rockets than any of us knew about prior to trying to keep track of these things. So I'm not currently seeing anything with a 24-hour launch window. So it looks like we don't have anything coming up in the next day or so. But we will bring you rockets as they launch with live coverage. And other things to look forward to at some point when my voice doesn't sound quite as bad as it does now. We, for our 365 Days of Astronomy podcast, allow you to sponsor a day NPR style, and I will be recording live the sponsorship messages that you leave in our you leave for our episodes. So if you want me to say, well, anything that is kind of normal, I'm happy to say it as part of a sponsorship message. You can find out how to sign up straight down below, and I will be recording all of the messages that people have already reserved live on Twitch at some point when I have a voice. So stay tuned. More awesomeness is to come, and we really look forward to bringing you all sorts of cool news from the American Geophysical Union meeting out there in Washington, D.C. Oh, sorry, Veronica. Astronomy Cast this week is canceled due to Fraser's travel. We might try and do it a day early, but I think Susie said that that just wasn't going to be possible. I'm going to double check on that. But as far as I know, Fraser, he's on an actual vacation down in Costa Rica. And I think he's going to nope this week in favor of vacationing. That's all I've got. Anything else? Okay, so the unattended crew Dragon demonstration has been pushed to January 17th. That is awesome. Yes, you can have me say Peter Pan peanut butter is the peeniest peanut butter. You can have me say all sorts of different things. It's just going to start by this episode of 365 Days of Astronomy is sponsored by, and yeah. So yes, we're all kind of jealous of Fraser. You're right, he's in Hawaii, not Costa Rica. I had the wrong island. Yes, thank you for the correction, Larry. Okay, so I'm going to go make myself some more hot tea or something similar, grab some lunch, and I'll be poking around the internet. This is the best time to catch me on Discord because really, I'm not talking. So I will see you all on the text-based communications channels, and I'll be back tomorrow to put more science in your brain. And I don't know if I'm taking tonight off. I'll talk to you all later. So wherever you are in the world, have a fabulous morning, evening, or afternoon. I'm just trying to find the link so that I can roll the credits, and I will see you all on the other side.